In the course of the night you can have several dreams, one after another. What's the difference between these dreams? We could describe each dream in terms of the effect it has on us, in terms of its emotional tone. It might be a pleasant dream, or a scary dream, or an anxiety dream, and so on. But what is the essential difference in essence? Are the dreams made up of different things? There are different things in the dreams. But of one dream, if we describe a dream as a result of the consciousness of the dreamer, then aren't all the dreams a result of the consciousness of the dreamer? So it's a bit like the television set. The television set does not change dependent on what is being shown on the television set. If you're watching a thriller, a movie thriller on the television isn't different. It isn't any different from when you're watching a comedy program on the television. It's the same television. So it's the same awareness, the same consciousness in which these dreams arise. And we've no problem with saying that the consciousness is the essential reality of the dream. It's the same consciousness. No matter what the dreamer dreams, it's all arising in the same consciousness. So let's bear that in mind. The sage continued, the perception of the experience of the world exists within the atomic particle of infinite consciousness. The word here is between apostrophes, which is quite a good way of depicting it, because the apostrophes mark it out. And this is what we do. We mark out something called the world. But it exists within our awareness. If there is no awareness, there is no world. We're not hypothesizing about anything here. This is the actual reality we're talking about. If there's no awareness, there is no world. Everything only exists when it's in awareness. And this awareness is described as the atomic particle of infinite consciousness. It's atomic because it's fundamental. It's indivisible. This was supposed to be another meaning of the word atom. Before they started dividing it up, the atom is indivisible. So this world is arising within the atomic particle of consciousness, which is infinite. I'm saying this, and you can say exactly the same thing. And your world is completely different to my world. I don't have access to your world any more than you have access to my world. We've constructed a consensus reality for the purposes of communication. But fundamentally, you are alone in your world. Your world also exists within the atomic particle of infinite consciousness. It's not your consciousness, of course, because you are also a notion, just as the world is a notion, and you both exist within this atomic particle of infinite consciousness. That's why it's infinite, because there are infinite number of such worlds. But the thing is, just as there's only one dreamer, just as there's only the one dreamer consciousness in which all these dreams happen, there is only the one consciousness in which all these worlds arise. Your world, my world, everybody else's. The quality of your consciousness is exactly the same as the quality of my consciousness. Or more accurately, the consciousness in which your notions of the world and notions of yourself is exactly the same as the consciousness in which my notions of myself and my notions of the world are arising. Just as a reflection in a mirror is only mirror, however it is non-different from the infinite consciousness. These dreams, our waking world as well, are not different from consciousness. What is a dream made up of? It is made up of the very consciousness within which it is arising. This infinite consciousness is beginningless and endless. That itself is called creation. Sometimes the Yoga Vasistha forgets that it's beginningless and starts giving us a story about the cosmic person and the dream of that cosmic person. But it's beginningless because it's always happening. There is no beginning to it. There's no reason for there to be any beginning to it, because it's all happening in this very moment. It's all coming into being at this very moment. Wherever this consciousness shines, there this creation exists, non-different from it, even as a body is non-different from its limbs. So creation is like the limbs of the body of consciousness. You and I are consciousness. The entire world is consciousness. By this realization, the creation is seen as an integral part of consciousness and therefore uncreated. It's like a dream. Is a dream something created? The dream is no different from consciousness. The dream is no different from waking. You and I are consciousness, and this consciousness is beginningless and endless. Hence I am that atomic particle of consciousness, and as such I am infinite and omnipresent. And this is when you realize your nature as consciousness. This is when you actually are aware of your own awareness and what this awareness implies. Full appreciation of this awareness. Therefore, wherever I am, I see everything from there itself. If this consciousness is here, it experiences my world. And from where you are, it's experiencing your world and your personality. I am a particle of consciousness, but I am one with the infinite consciousness on account of the realization of this truth, even as water is the same as water. One water molecule is exactly the same as another water molecule. It's all water. We mustn't take this too literally, but when we say I am a particle of consciousness, this particle is non-different from all the rest of consciousness. We can break water up, but we cannot break consciousness up. Although it seems like, just as you can get 2 pots of water, we can get pots of consciousness. I'm a pot of consciousness and you're a pot of consciousness. But this is just in accordance with limited perception. There is actually no difference between the consciousness in this pot and the consciousness in that pot. Actually, I suppose you could say there's no difference between the water in this pot and the water in this pot. But the thing is, the pot that's containing the consciousness is also no different from consciousness.